It's that time of year again, the scanning's starting. If you're wondering what this orange thing is here, this is an arm length glove that I'm supposed to have on. This one here, this is the mother of the embryos. So I think maybe £10,000, that's the scanner and the probe. Good morning, sheep fans. Cammie's the name, sheep's the game. It's that time of year again, the scanning's starting. Boys are starting to phone, and girls, of course, are starting to phone once some of the early lambing breeds scanned. We've already been out a day and done a handful of Swarbles and some Dutch spotted sheep. We're now going to be doing Suffolks, a couple of Charlies, some half-bred Suffolks, recipient yows, which are, to quickly explain, recipient yows are a lot of pedigree boys, your Texel men, your Suffolk men. Will use like a good mule yow or a similar crossbred yow, big milky sheep, kind sheep, and what they'll do is they flush eggs out of their top females. So one female might produce 15, 20, 30 eggs, I'm not sure exactly, I'm not in that game, I'm too poor, just an honest sheep farmer. But they then put those eggs inseminated with the best ram into a recipient female. Quite a simple process, doesn't take long, and what happens is that sheep then produces a lamb, basically a surrogate mother. We call it a recipient yow, in humans it would be a surrogate mother, sort of what Kim Kardashian does. So essentially the boys are just looking for their Kim Kardashian and they're putting her eggs into another sheep to let her do all the hard work and rear it. It also means that one female can now have multiple lambs. So one female, you flush 30 eggs, you could have 30 lambs. Quick maths there, guy. Anyway, we're at the first job, we're set up, we'll get on with it. This is the setup just now. We have a new scanning crate, that'll be in the next video probably, because I need to go and get that. Wee Jamesy Nisbet is holding on to it for me. Can we talk about him here? Sorry. Rival butchers, different postcodes, it's fine. So we're still using the old crate for these jobs. So hopefully you can see that. GoPro not set up right, I can't quite see. So we're basically, I've just got fair liquid in here. I'll use the proper gel once we sort of get into the bigger jobs. So it's quite easy just to make up some fair liquid. And that runs through this little pump. These are, how many days are these? Tucked from the 5th of August onward. She's a late single. If you're wondering what this orange thing is here, this is an arm length glove that I'm supposed to have on. And it stops the fairy liquid running down my sleeve. So now I've got a sleeve full of fairy liquid inside a glove. Boys, got a lot to learn. So we're at Rigfoot Suffolks today. This is actually the video I did with the monster sheep when we were shearing. It's actually my most popular video to date. It's got about 40,000 views. And these Suffolks will lamb from about January 4th onwards. Every society has different sort of rules. The Suffolks, they can't lamb before Christmas Day. I believe like Swarbles is like New Year's Day, I think, is the difference there. So this one here is a triplet. Quite a good example because I can get all three on the screen at one time, which is often quite difficult. But looking at it now as a freeze frame, I'm like, where are the three? But they are there. If you look, this one here is just the outline of the body. There's a body up there and a body over there. Although when it's a freeze frame, it's not so easy to decipher. And genuinely, I'm no expert in scanning. I've been doing it for about 5 years. There's boys out there who've been doing it 30 years who are just wizards with it. Like, I always say it's similar to, if you've ever seen The Matrix, when Neo first walks in and all the green letters are going down the screen and the guys are just sitting there reading it and Neo has no idea what's going on. Well, I'm basically like Neo.
He is the one.
I'm not saying I'm the one, although I might be, but that's what it's like when you first start scanning. It's like trying to read the matrix. This is an important thing when you're starting out scanning. And I'll go in to explain a bit about starting out scanning just in 2 seconds. But you need guys like Davey here who's really patient, especially now I'm messed about with the camera all the time. This sheep here, I'm just about to let out. This one here, this is the mother of the embryos. You see the size of that sheep there? This is a big wether. He was actually, that's young Davey's pet sheep. You'll remember him from the shearing video. The biscuits, I can see he's had a few biscuits. So 498 there is the mother of the embryos, and that's what I was saying. You pick your best yow and you flush her to produce these eggs. That's the Kim Kardashian. As I said earlier, you pick your Kim Kardashian and you make somebody else do the hard work. This happens a lot as well. I start scanning, then I get absolutely roasted. Starting scanning, people might watch this video and think, I'd quite like to get into scanning. Seems like a good way to make money. You know how much your scanners charge and how quick they do it. They make a fortune. There's no two ways about it. Single, yeah, that'll be an embryo, is it?
Yeah, aye.
They make a fortune, but the skill level of these boys that are putting 200-300 sheep an hour through the scanning crates and being 99% accurate is phenomenal. Like, that's taking them years to learn. So you're not really paying for the effort that they're putting in now, you're paying for the years of knowledge and skill that they've built up. I thought, start scanning, made contact with a local scanner, says, listen, I fancy scanning, would you take me out for a few days, show me the ropes? And I was very fortunate they agreed. I know personally from my own experience scanning, that's a twin, that's a 40 odd day, 45 days. I know personally from my own experience of scanning, you hardly have time to do that. So I just sat back quietly and just watched him scanning, asked the odd question, maybe got to do the last 10 or 15 of a run. Farmers were very patient, and that's a big factor also. Your big thing with scanning, a few things I'm going to cover here. The sheer expense of getting started is the first massive consideration. I'm not sure how much scanners are now. When I got this 5 years ago, this scanner was £12,000. I think that's including the VAT, so I think maybe £10,000. That's the scanner and the probe. It's £10,000, so it's quite a big outlay, especially if you don't have any customer base. So you're going to spend £10,000 but have no sheep to scan, potentially. You might have 100 lined up or so, but 100 sheep to scan's, say, 50 quid, maybe more, depends who you are, or where you are in the country, it could be less. So you've got that outlay of £10,000, you're then going to have to find sheep to scan, but that's still not the hardest part. You know, realistically, any of us can get £10,000 and start scanning sheep, buy a scanner, two there, Davey, same age again. But the hard part is learning to bloody scan. Like, I take a lot of pride in what I do. With the shearing, when I was learning to shear, I suffered the same as everyone else. You know, I probably wasn't the tidiest when I first started. I'm still not the tidiest. But I make a job that the farmers are happy with, and that's important. Whereas the good thing with shearing, when you first start shearing and you see that sheep run off the trailer, you know you've made an arse of it. Like, you can see that sheep and you can look at it and say, aye, that wasn't tidy enough. Or maybe you gave her a wee nick, you just know, right, I've not made a good job of that. That's twins, is that an embryo?
No.
Similar stage?
No. Yeah.
First hull. Oh, any eyes? Aye. They're not all embryos, the eyes. So you know, you look at that sheep, you know you've made an arse of it. But when you come and start scanning, and you scan a sheep, and there'll be sheep you scan, you think, I'm really not sure. But you give it a go, just watch that just to come back, Davey. You give it a go and you try and do it as accurate as you can. But when that sheep runs out the scanning crate, you have no idea if you've made an arse of it or not. And you're not going to know for another single. Early again, aye. You're not going to know until lambing time, and by then it's far too late. So it's a horrible feeling some days when you first start and you go to a farm and the sheep might be too full. They might be massive buffets. scanning's back to front. You start with the biggest, fattest sheep at this time of year, and then you move on to the hill sheep and the leaner sheep later on, which are an absolute breeze to scan. And we'll get into that more a bit later. I hope I'm not boring you all with a scanning chat. So you buy the scanner, you get a few sheep to scan, you then learn to scan. Biggest thing, get yourself on a course. Duncan Kennedy at Progressive Animal Services, he's a big time scanner in his own right. Him and David do a Hoora sheep. So look them up on Facebook if you want to learn to scan. There's obviously no course this year, but I'm sure there'll be courses next year. And they work with Bruce Gallagher, who's another top scanner. And they'll show you the ropes. They do a beginner's course and then an advanced course. I've done them both. Great days, great opportunities to ask these experienced men a lot of questions, and they can just check what your technique's like, if you're doing things right. That's a single, that'll be an AI again. That's an embryo. They'll check your technique, check you're doing things right. Invaluable. Get in those courses and see if you're going away and maybe not scanning a lot of sheep, then get on the course again next year. Don't be, like, you can't do enough courses. Shearing, for example, I'm a competent shearer, not a great shearer by any means. Competent, I can shear 3, maybe 400 the odd day when I need to. Single again, similar date. But I'll go on a shearing course every year. Just learning all the time. Like, until I do 800 sheep in a day, I'm still gonna have a lot to learn. You want to be upfront with the farmers you're going to. Explain to them that you've just started scanning. That's one later. Honestly, knowing what I know now about starting scanning, would I do it again? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. There's a lot of horrible occasions, that we won about the AI time again. A lot of horrible occasions where farmer would be giving you feedback about how bad it was, and you know, you'd made a mess of it. And don't get me wrong, I still make plenty of mistakes. Like, I am not an experienced scanner by any means. I'll maybe do 15,000 sheep this winter. You need the numbers to improve. You need to keep doing it to improve. Keep getting feedback from farmers. But I'm getting distracted a bit with the actual scanning. I was making the point where if you can scan for people you know well, who have a bit of patience, like Davey here, then that helps a lot. I get away with murder here because he knew my uncle and my father, so I can get away with all sorts here. Like saying this one's just showing early stages, but she maybe just about shy of the 30-day mark. So I get away with a lot here, as with some other places. But you need people like the Tullocks here, like a lot of other boys I go to, that give guys an opportunity. Young folk like myself, not so young anymore, but young folk like myself, give them an opportunity to learn. Like, and that is something I'm really big on. And farming is getting young boys started and things and giving them opportunities. We all make mistakes. So that's my kind of key points I would mention about scanning. It'd be interesting, any of you guys that do scan that are watching this, any other tips you have for maybe young boys wanting to start, or thoughts about when you first started scanning, how you got on. It's good to be honest about these things and let boys know what they're getting themselves in for. But mentally it's tough, especially for myself, who I like people to think of me as making a job of things and doing things well. And to go scanning somewhere and make an arse of it, people will hear about it. It's just the nature of farming. And dents the pride a bit. You know, I had a few days that really dented the pride and it's pretty sore. And you kind of think to yourself, you know, is it worth all this hassle? That's us finished here. So you have days you think to yourself, is it worth the hassle? Is it worth the dent in your pride? You know, people maybe not thinking bad of you, but thinking you're useless at something. Hard for me to take. But you've got to persevere, as I have done. Got a reasonable customer base now. Slowly building it up. I'm kind of at that stage where through the winter I'm working 36 hours a week at another job, scanning my days off, crutching every Thursday at Stirling Market, fairly full schedule. I've still got, you know, 1,000 sheep running just now, but let's say 600-700 going to the top, all that to deal with as well. So you need to find balance. For me, the balance is working away at steady at the scanning, doing the numbers I'm doing, quite enjoying myself, even more so when I get my new scanning crate. Back to me here again, guys. Thanks very much for watching that one. I'm going to end it there because I go to a few other farms after that and I'm going to use that footage and make another vlog out of it. That's plenty long enough, I'm sure you'll agree, and I hope you found that interesting. Would be really good to hear from you guys what you thought about scanning, or anyone who's in the scanning game. As I said, leave a comment, tell me where I'm wrong and where I'm right. It's all open for debate. I'm just learning as I go, so come at me, it's all good. Anyone that's asking about the merchandise and the sheep game stuff, It'll be out Thursday at 5 PM on the website, which is here, and in the link below. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you for another one on Saturday night. Cheers.
I know it. He's the one.